Restoring Men in History, Sydney Sweeney, more attacks. The male gaze. Newsweek has an article. We're going to go through a few of the quotes there. This is an attack on women, sex, and beauty. That's what the cultural Marxists like to do. And so we're going to hit this again. The goal, wipe out sex, beauty, and women. So we'll take a look at this Newsweek article. Sydney Sweeney embraces the male gaze, Newsweek. And here's one of the quotes. In its review, Vulture described the episode as, quote, this season's most dismal. And Cracked, see how they've got to attack if it's a beautiful, sexy woman. Cracked criticized the sketch comedy show, saying, when Saturday Night Live, we call it Saturday Night Leftism, features a well-endowed woman, or Saturday Night Left, features a well-endowed woman host, the show will inevitably turn a low-cut top into an entire 4-minute sketch. Okay? One sketch saw Sweeney play a ditzy but successful Hooters waitress who makes $30,000 in tips. There's some studies on beautiful people getting paid, but anyway. In another, she played a ditzy high school cheerleader who falls in love with the school's new basketball star, Air Bud, the golden retriever. The Euphoria star also joked in her monologue that if her strategy to get into acting had failed, her backup plan was to show her endowments. Another word. SNL has never known what to do with hot guests, and Sydney Sweeney is the latest example. Eamon Jacobs wrote for Business Insider. So this stuff drives the left crazy, right? Sexy, beautiful women drive feminist and cultural Marxist nuts. Why? Because that goes against their agenda. It opposes it. It clearly shows the what? Differences in men and women physically. The differences in men, women, and masculinity and femininity. They don't want that. And they don't like it much because she's not afraid to lean into her sexiness, lean into her beauty, right? Being feminine, showing the feminine, drives them crazy. So they attack her skits. They attack her personally. That's what cultural Marxists do, many of them. Saul Alinsky tactics. So I don't know this person, but many of the cultural Marxists wish to destroy beauty, femininity, women, and men. We've talked about this. Here's another example. Some of them push the trans, which will do what? Destroy women, right? They attack beautiful women to wipe out beauty. Those new buildings, architecturally, beauty's been attacked. Beauty's being attacked all over because cultural Marxists must destroy. And as, I don't know the pronunciation here, Feltschher, Stepman, a senior policy analyst at the Independent Women's Forum and senior contributor at The Federalist, I like The Federalist, suggested the actor leans into her attractiveness and even welcomes the male gaze. Good for her. Good for Sydney Sweeney. And 3 cheers. That's good. She's in, after all, show business, the movie business. Remember Marilyn Monroe? And the pictures of her that we've seen in the old movies? So Sweeney's driving the feminist and the cultural Marxist crazy in their agenda, and it doesn't go along with it. If you want to divide men and women, make sure that we don't have any differences and you don't see any differences. And as goes on to tweet, and maybe we'll put this up, men don't only like Sydney Sweeney for her endowments, they like her because she's the first starlet in a long time to unrepentantly and cheerfully chase the male gaze. She is clearly giving permission to ogle and enjoying that feminine power. An oasis for men and a nut vice culture, laughing out loud. Stepman wrote on X, formerly Twitter. And the cultural Marxists have done everything they can to divide men and women and have them at war and not have the differences and not appreciate and celebrate the differences as a good thing. And destroy attraction, destroy beauty, and destroy family. If you like our message, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. The concept of the male gaze was, this is still Newsweek, and then we're going to Wiki take on it. The concept of the male gaze was first introduced by academic and filmmaker Laura Mulvey. Guess, do you think she was a feminist? Absolutely. Let's put her up here if we have a picture. In the 70s, she described it as the phenomenon of multimedia that put women on screen to satisfy male protagonists and ultimately male viewers. By the way, most who drives movies, mainly young males, right? Especially action films. In the feminist theory, the male gaze is the act of depicting women in the world in the visual arts and literature from a masculine, heterosexual perspective. They don't like heterosexuals much either, do they? The cultural Marxist. So that's a bad thing, being heterosexual, whether you're women or men. That represents women as sexual objects for the pleasure of the heterosexual male viewer. By the way, again, it's boys mainly that go to these films. Heterosexual men, let's go on. And you wouldn't want heterosexual men and women making babies, right, and having families, not if you're a totalitarian or a cultural Marxist, right? Again, that's a feminist take on it. We would say it just shows the differences in male and female and gives something men to aspire to. And again, feminists are in the game, some of them. They push the trans movement, which will do what? Wipe women out. It's not about just women's sports. It's way beyond that. It's about wiping women out. Women's sports is the tip of the iceberg to wipe women out. Going on with Wiki. In the visual and aesthetic presentations of narrative cinema, the male gaze has three perspectives: that of the man behind the camera, that of the male characters within the film's cinematic representations, and that of the spectator gazing at the image. The concept of the gaze was first used by English art critic John Berger in Ways of Seeing, 1972, which presents analysis of the representation of women as passive objects to be seen in advertising and as nude subjects in European art. The feminist intellectual Laura Mulvey, big feminist, applied the concept of the gaze to critique traditional representations of women in cinema, from which emerged the concept of the term of the male gaze. So we're going back into the background here. Appreciating feminine beauty is a good thing. The differences in men and women are good things, the differences. And again, the Marxists and the feminists seem to hate traditional roles, many of them, and want to destroy that. We want to elevate and celebrate the differences. And now many of those feminists and cultural Marxists, well, the cultural Marxists did push the trans movement, right? It's, if you want to destroy women, push the trans movement. Destroy the attraction, destroy women, destroy the family. We've talked about it. Let's go on. All right, let's skip and go to visualization. Such visualizations establish the roles of the dominant male and dominated female by representing the female as a passive object for the male gaze of the active viewer. Social pairing of the passive object woman and the active viewer man is a functional basis of patriarchy. Boy, the cultural Marxists hate the patriarchy that once was. Totalitarians hate it, and they hate strong men, and they hate women, right? And they hate families. Hate families for sure, and strong men. You don't want strong men around if you're a totalitarian. And confusion's good for totalitarians, right? Dividing men and women. Dividing women and women because of the trans thing. Because you'll have some women that oppose that. So that's another division. And Marxists like to what? Divide, create hatred. So they gain more what? Power. Gender roles that are culturally reinforced in and by aesthetics, textual, visual, symbolic of the mainstream commercial cinema. The movies which feature the male gaze is more important than the female gaze, and a sex choice based on the social political, as an ideological basis of patriarchy, social political inequality, which I wanted to get to this, unilaterally determine what is natural and normal in society, right? And there it is. They don't want natural and normal, right? If families work well and there's a mother and father and kids, studies have shown normally they do better. If they sit down at the table and all eat together. Cultural Marxism doesn't want that. Totalitarians don't want that. What are they trying to destroy? Norms, traditions, masculine and feminine. And they show it. They're pushing this trans movement where they are pushing men can be women, which they can't. Men and women's sports, which is ridiculous. To destroy the traditions, to destroy Western civilization, to destroy men and women and family. Destroy the normal. If men can become women, what do you destroy? Women. And they just never stop. What's next? All right. In time, the people of the community believe that the artificial values of patriarchy are the natural and normal order of society. The Western hierarchy of inferior women and superior men. All right. No, it's not inferior. We just see the differences, right? Women are incredibly valuable. Men are incredibly valuable. You men can do great things. If you're watching this and you're a man, you can do great things. You can be strong. You can aspire to date a feminine woman. You can aspire to build buildings, create art, to do things. We want you to aspire and do great things. And you can. No matter what society tells you, men, you can be great. And you can aspire to greatness. And you can have many good friends too. And we believe men and women can make each other better by celebrating the differences and knowing them. They wish to divide us. The differences can enrich us and make us better. And in films, especially when you're watching films, as a man, you can aspire to be that man that protects his woman, that stands up for her when she's threatened by the bad guys. So in films, you want to rescue that feminine woman or that beautiful woman, right? And you want to save the town and rescue the princess out of the castle or do whatever. You want to be the man of courage, right? And what's that about? It's about the virtue of courage and selflessness and sacrifice, ready to protect the woman you love and willing to die for her if necessary, the woman you love, protecting her from the bad guys. That's an aspiration, right? To have that kind of courage to rise to the occasion of you men, and you can do it right now. You've got a country and a republic to save, to restore the Constitution, restore men, restore history, restore the republic. You have a big mission right now, man. Aspirational. Films can be aspirational. They can inspire boys and men to become heroes. Because as a kid, you want to save that girl, you want to save that town, and you want to be that hero, right? And you want to have that courage. So go back to the Iliad and Homer. What's it all about? What's it start off with? Right? Helen, wife of the king, so beautiful that the whole Trojan army goes to war. And the Greek army goes to get her back, right? Art, life. What will a man do for a beautiful woman? Quite a bit. It's powerful. Feminists, probably who are not attractive on the inside or outside, don't like that. If they're angry, they're not going to come across as attractive, right? If they're not as feminine. And they probably don't like women like Sydney Sweeney being all sexy, right? Some of them. But what will a man do for a beautiful woman? Risk his life? Climb tall buildings, build buildings, do all these things. Less so today, but before feminism, almost everything, right? But before feminism and social media came along, right? So anyway, beautiful, sexy men inspire, beautiful, sexy women can inspire men. Feminine women can inspire men with having internal beauty and being feminine. And femininity is beautiful, right? That creates an attraction. Manly men like feminine women usually, right? So you see these social justice warriors and feminists attacking beautiful women. And you see the cultural Marxists trying to destroy everything. Beauty contest. Miss Maryland was a man. How can that be? That's impossible. So you see that attack. What is that attack? In these beauty contests to destroy, in Maryland, women. Because it's a man that won. In Alabama, what is it to destroy? The normal concept of healthy beauty, right? Because there's a healthy beauty, and there's something to do with health, not body positivity, right? Beauty contest is for that external beauty mainly, correct? If it's a swimsuit and all those competitions like that in an evening dress, it's got to have that normal sexual beauty. So, culture Marxists again, and the beauty contest and other areas, and with Sydney Sweeney attacking beauty, attacking women. In the end, it's about destroying women and beauty. Beauty sets women apart from other women as well, right? I remember in the offices, women attacking the beautiful women at work and trying to get me in the middle of it, and bosses trying to get me in the middle of it. Beautiful and beauty, it's not inclusive, right? So it opposes DEI, right? Because exclusionary, right? Beauty sets you apart in this society, beautiful women. Look at the attack also on Caitlin Clark from other women. Look at the buildings and architecture attacking beauty. So it's not just women. It's to destroy beauty. Art, movies, video games. Video games recently, there's been some articles I read a few years back about how the women in there are unattractive now. Why? Right? That's cultural Marxism work to destroy beauty and women and destroy the differences so that men are no longer attracted to women. So there's less difference. If they start creating characters that look like men and boys, that's not going to be as attractive to men. You're attracted to the opposite. Men are attracted to women, right? Or at least masculine men are attracted to feminine women, right? So being feminine sets you apart, being sexy sets you apart, being beautiful sets you apart as a woman. For beautiful women, the world is their oyster. It can be, or at least used to be. So the culture Marxists tried to devalue beauty, and many women try to devalue beauty as if it's more important for women than other attributes, or not as valuable as other attributes like its intelligence. But beauty is a gift, as is intelligence is a gift. And feminists and social justice warriors just can't tolerate it. Many of them. So they want to destroy the standards, the norms, and destroy what beauty is. Curves, which a transgender man would not have, right? Mainly. So they go so far trying to elevate men into winning women's beauty contests. That's destroying women. So it's to wipe the sexy, wipe the beautiful, wipe women. Sweeney leans into it, so they probably don't want to show that. They probably want her to play a monster next, right? The feminists would love for her to play a monster next, like Charlize Theron, right? And some actresses get swept into that, play an attractive role to get considered worthy as an actress. But the truth is, beauty is a value, sexiness is a value, feminine qualities are a value, and men don't really care how much a woman makes or the car they drive or whether they have a house or any of that stuff. What they want is someone kind and that they're attracted to. That's what most men want. Most masculine men want someone they're attracted to and that is kind. They don't have a big long list. And then you see these attacks of reality. It's not reality. It's not reality. Yeah. Well, here's the difference in men and women too, right? You see like the Expendables or something with an action figures and action masculine men, and you just say, hey, we'll go lift weights. We'll go do it. We'll go get there. We'll get stronger. We'll build muscle. That's what men do, but you've got some women that attack women for being beautiful when they could just choose to be their best instead of attacking beautiful women. Go to the gym, wear a dress, be feminine, and maximize their looks. Because you don't see that as much with men. When we see a guy on screen, we just say, we'll go to the gym. We'll work out hard. We'll get fitter. We'll get stronger. And what else do we go to the movies for sometimes? To be aspirational, to see courage displayed on screen, because men like to see. Men are visual many times. And movies at one time could be aspirational in many films. So let's look at another attacker of Sydney Sweeney, uses her pronouns, ready to wipe out women. And we'll put her thing up. Inclusive feminist. You can see it. Dr. Sarah Godfrey, Associate Professor, Film, Television, UEA. Inclusive feminist. What does that mean? Wiping out women. Inclusive feminist means you're accepting what? Trans, which will wipe out women. I think that the SNL comedy is somewhat lazy and predictable in the idea of women she just got to attack. Leaning into their attractiveness. What's wrong with leaning into your attractiveness? Is maximizing your access. Nothing. If you have attributes, if you're highly intelligent and you study and lean into it, that's a good thing, right? If you're attractive and you make yourself even more attractive and lean into it, that's a good thing, right? And loaded ideal that is fraught with problems politically and economically. Well, these people are so into their agenda. And the same goes for the idea of women choosing to, as Stedman put it, chase the male gaze. Sarah Godfrey, an associate producer, tells Newsweek. So it really upsets her. Feminist, inclusive feminist, seems to be really upset by Sydney Sweeney leaning into her sexiness. And Sydney Sweeney is in show business, the film business. But that is not a problem for men, and she's a movie star. Men want to save the feminine girl. It works. We aspire to have courage and save the day and get the pretty girl, or the feminine girl who's being attacked by the bad guys, or all the women in the town that are being attacked, and men, saving the whole town of all men and women in the town. Actually, we want to have courage to save the whole town and all the people, right? We want to, James Bond's popular, right? He saves the whole thing, right? Yellen states this. Here's another quote from this person named Yellen, Y-E-L-L-I-N. She added, and that spectacle of femininity has its own long-standing conventions of visual science and codes. Long blonde hair, mega cleavage, visible skin, warm, friendly, smiling, non-threatening delivery. Hey, nothing wrong with warm, smiling, and friendly. We kind of like that. These conventions of specular femininity overlap with those of the male gaze. A lot of the men like long hair, and a lot of the men I talk to like long hair. It is feminine. Friendly, warm, smiling, nothing wrong with friendly, warm, and smiling, right? We kind of like that. It's feminine. What do you think we want to see on the screen to aspire today? Cold, unfriendly, and never smiling? No, we want to, we aspire today feminine women. And that's what we're attracted to, most of us. Femininity is attractive. So wrap it up. Many seem bothered by Sydney Sweeney, many feminist, woke social justice warriors and people on the left, because she leaned into being feminine and sexy, and because of her looks, and because she is sexy. If you want to destroy sex and women, she's not good for their agenda. If you want to destroy sexiness and beauty, she's not good for their agenda. She's not good for the agenda of the culture Marxist. So here's to you men and women who can enrich each other and make each other better. Also, here's to better films where men can see examples of courage, protecting the town or whatever, or protecting their woman, where men are men and women are women. Films that give men and women something to aspire to, concrete examples, so they can see what it looks like to be a man. We have differences. We can celebrate them and not let the culture Marxists destroy women and beauty. Thank you. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. We would appreciate it.